What is going on, people? This is King Nappy. We are here at the Regal 30 podcast. This won't be, uh, I don't know. This is about the widespread, I believe, just hit the states, the coronavirus. This was originally over in China. Started off with a few cases, about 12, jumped to 77. I believe now it's at I think it got to up in the 100,000s. If I'm not mistaken, I could be giving out the wrong figures here, and drop them in the comment section if you got the correct ones. But this virus is considered to be extremely hard to provide a cure for. Most antibiotics, from what I hear, don't really respond to it. Most medication don't really respond to it. Um, and it's made contact in the U.S. I think the first case or first significant case that they actually have is in Santa Clara, if I'm not mistaken. They're doing some of the police force and some of the um, hospitals and local clinics are taking certain measures and things like that to ensure that um, we prevent and or stabilize any possible cases that may occur here. Right now, we're in the Midwest, and over in Illinois, and no significant signs, no significant cases. But I just want to get on here and kind of just share my thoughts on it. This seems odd to me. This seems out of nowhere to me. Um, it's nothing that's foreign to us because, like I said, a few years back in '09, I think we dealt with the what's your H1N1 or Z1 something? No, N1. Z1 is a Z1 is definitely a battle royale game. The H1N1 2003, or I want to say 3 or 4. It was the SARS infection was going around. For a short period of time, we were dealing with a widespread of the West Nile. I'm not sure if that's the same as the H1N1 or not, but it's nothing foreign to us dealing with outbreaks here and there. It's just weird though. Like, for some reason, this one just has a different feel to it. Another thing that I've been thinking about too is the entertainment industry. I've been noticing that a lot of relevant names or up and coming names in the industry have been getting hit, and it's been puzzling me, and making me wonder what's going on, what's really happening. Was noticing that it just seems like the entertainment industry, it seems like we're being sort of desensitized towards the celebrity. For so long, it seemed like the celebrity was something that was nearly above the law, even though it wasn't. And it seemed like they were above civilians. And it seemed like as of late, I just been seeing them become just humanized. You know what I mean? And they've always have, from people being on drugs and falling out of their careers, some people, falling from the top and landing on rock bottom, people being broke, going bankrupt. We've seen all that, but it seemed like I'm seeing it more so, even more, where it seems like in my head, the entertainment industry in the future could be something that is not even needed anymore. We've used the entertainment industry for so long. We've used it for so long. We've used it as a leisure and as a privilege and as a downtime. It's a luxury for us. When we get off work, we get home, we get comfortable, and we turn on the television, or we turn on our favorite streaming software. We put it on Hulu or Netflix or YouTube or you know just whatever platform, Disney Plus, whatever it may be. I know for me, YouTube is one of my main outlets. That's what I always end up going to and just watching, spending countless hours watching or either uploading or editing. That's a leisure for me. That's something that's a nice little downtime for me. We've had that for so long. We've had distractions for so long. I feel like there's gonna come a time where entertainment, especially in the form that we have it now, will be no more. That will be obsolete. Um, I feel like things are gonna take a much darker tone at some point. Is things are gonna be more simplistic so far as our goals. Right now, everything is at our feet. Everything is up for grabs. Everything is out in the open. So our goals are all over the place and measured from anything to being really significant to something really small and minute. But I believe there's going to come a point in time where everybody's going to have the same common goal, which is to survive, which is to live, which is to not die. People are going to all have that same goal, and that's going to be the first and foremost goal. Um, I just see the way that the country is heading, seeing just the behavior of everybody, how primitive and just sort of this animal like mindset that we have. It's getting real dangerous. It's getting really dark out here. I seen where they were making a certain virus or a certain bacteria that they were injecting in animals, and they had I don't know if they had injected it in them or they placed it into something that they would consume, and it began to affect them and other ones. But I saw a while ago, like it was a raccoon, it was a deer, and it was something else they had did an experiment on. But the symptoms and the characteristics and the attributes that they had were like of a zombie. The raccoon would just kind of react in a off sort of way, and it would get really aggressive, but then get really disoriented as to where it was. It was beginning to act real feral, and it was just puzzling as to what this was and where did it come from. Is this something that is made up in someone's lab or in someone's basement or wherever and given to these animals? And then it makes me think about the coronavirus. Like, where is this coming from? Where is this starting? You know what I mean? Is this something that's intentional? And nowadays, especially in our country, we can never take anything for face value. Nothing is never really what it is on the outside. There's always something totally different behind closed doors. A lot of people say they don't look at the news because they feel like the news fabricate things and they lie. And that's true, they do. I watch the news not for precise detailed information and play-by-plays. I watch the news to get a general idea of where our country is heading. Get a general idea of this is happening, being able to use context clues and connect the dots and realizing what season your country is in and what you're getting ready to embark upon. Something is brewing, and it's just darker than it ever felt. A lot of times this particular level of darkness felt so far away years ago. Stuff that you just knew was coming, but you just didn't think it would be now. You just didn't think it'd be this soon or this close. You didn't think it'd be this recognizable. And unfortunately it is. I would love to hear everybody's thoughts about this particular virus. And what's your thoughts on it? What do you think its origins are? Besides, obviously, what is being told on TV and on the news. But what do you think? I'm getting a little bit of essential oils in my diffuser here. Me, I'm real big on scents. I love something that smells good. Real big on that. Uh-oh. But a lot of the luxuries and things like that we're so used to and having, I believe a lot of those things are going to change. Simple things like driving our car to work and getting off work and going where we want to go is gonna something's brewing, and it is dark. You know, I stay prayed up. I stay making sure that I'm doing what I need to do, being where I need to be at, be a good role model and a good example for my friends, my peers. Treat people the way I want to be treated, and treat people with kindness. You know, watch what I do, watch what I say. I get frustrated sometimes, and be ready to lash out at some people. Um, but just remember, you know, it's a bigger picture, and as a bigger goal in mind, and realizing it ain't people's fault. But yeah, man, this it's getting pretty wild. Trump released a statement saying that we'll do, you know, what we have to do in order to keep this virus at bay, even if it means quarantine off certain cities and certain areas, which I can definitely see that happening. Um, Even on my news app, there's a whole section just set aside for the coronavirus. Coronavirus outbreak causes first drug shortage in U.S. Huh. The Food and Drug Administration is warning of shortages of at least one drug as the spread of the coronavirus disrupts the pharmaceutical industry. Something's happening. Let's see if I can get a quick guest on the line. Give me just a second. Hey, I got a quick question. I want to so I can get your permission to use your audio from this in response to a question that I might have. But I want to get your permission first. A little impromptu guest if I can. Yeah, this is wild though. Because the USDA, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration is warning shortages of at least one drug as the spread of the coronavirus disrupts the pharmaceutical industry's global supply chain. The agency on Thursday said that for the first time since the outbreak, a drug maker reported a coronavirus related shortage for an undisclosed drug because it can't access enough raw components. Hold on, guys. Yes, this is for the podcast. I'm actually over here getting some footage together now, but I wanted to talk about the this virus that's been spreading around. I think it finally touched down in the U.S. The coronavirus. I wanted to just kind of pick your brain, get your thoughts, and what was your first initial thoughts, your impressions about that particular uh, headline, and yeah, just pick your brain overall about it.
Yeah, for sure. You have my permission to use my audio, just not my visual because it looks like this. But I've only heard two things recently, and I need to go back and read an article. My sister literally just told me yesterday that someone went into Memorial Hospital in Belleville, and they're being tested, but they have yet to get their results back. Um, she sent me another article, but I need to go back and read it. So, what exactly do you want me to talk about? Because I think it's kind of scary to think that this is a global thing. Like, it was in China or originated in China, and now it's here. Like, I don't know how to feel except for just concerned because a virus is airborne. A virus is something that you you don't know you're gonna get it until you got it. Just like the flu, I think lately sickness and illness have been like numbers that I haven't heard of or seen in a really long time. Like I'm someone who typically doesn't get sick, but I got sick
Mm-hmm.
with the flu a couple weeks ago, and since then I've been dealing with just a lot um, physically or respiratorily. So like I'm definitely concerned. I'm concerned for people because it's like it could have gotten over here through people traveling. I heard about a man who I forgot what cruise line he was on, but he was quarantined because he had tested positive for it,
Oh
and
wow.
somehow he got out of it. And he was dumb enough, and I hate to say that, but like this man was foolish enough to get on his social media. I cannot remember his name. I just remember it was like a snippet, and I was paying attention, but not for real. He was talking about, if they ask me my name and if I'm this person, because I guess whoever or whatever had figured out who he was basically gonna lie so that he could go home. So yeah, that's where my
Oh
head is. I hope it makes sense.
wow. And like yeah, it totally makes sense. And don't worry, no, it's just audio. I have the my device is face down, and I got my microphone just capturing the audio. Um, my initial thoughts when I first heard about it was I thought this is something that is possibly done on purpose. This doesn't sound like a virus that just showed up, like an actual imbalance in nature, chemical imbalance, or whatever it may be, an infectious, widespread or global widespread of an infection, like an actual infection. It didn't sound like that. It sounds like something that was purposely done. Um, my thoughts is that this is to disrupt global markets. Right now, it's already impacting from what I'm reading, the pharmaceutical market, and we're already talking about a shortage in drugs or a particular medication. It didn't state which one. It kept that undisclosed, but we're already talking about a shortage in what seems to be a popular medication or something like that due to the virus because that's what they're recommending or that's what is used in whatever they use to suppress it. Um, this just seems like something that will put everything to a halt. One of the first things that it was affecting, besides people's immune systems and stuff like that, was traveling. That was one of the first things I was noticing. Was like the economy over in China. People weren't able to go to work. People people weren't able to do their jobs. Shipping companies, like so a lot of them just stopped, like simply just like had to come to a screeching halt. And there's not a lot that can happen in life besides like natural disasters that can cause working and thriving industries to come to a complete standstill. But that's what I was noticing. Um, this seems purposeful to me. This doesn't seem like, oh no, this is a natural infection that's happening and causing, pandemonium among people. This seems purposed and targeted. This seems calculated.
That is so scary to even hear that you think that it was calculated. Um, I am someone who is guilty of not being as informed as I should be, just because I'm not gonna lie. I guess, I don't know why I'm ashamed to say this, but I get super anxious lately, and like when I
Mm,
hear stuff so much, I defense mechanism is to shut down, but I
okay.
have to force myself to watch the news and listen to it. But that's scary because money is huge,
Yeah.
and like when you said the word pharmaceutical industry, that is something that like I was thinking that word as soon as you said it, because money is everything. Money makes the world go around,
Mm-hmm.
and it's that's scary, Mike. That is really
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah, it is scary because one of the things that come to mind is you got this virus that's going around. You got these suppressants or possible cures that may show up, and you got these tests that they'll have to do. One of the main things that kind of really spooked me though was I don't know if this is how they actually do the test or they grabbed a random picture, but they actually had a device in this guy's hand, and he scanned. They use it to scan, and he used the device and he scanned this guy's forehead. It was like in his forehead region, to test and see if he had the coronavirus. These devices are new. They just implemented these, and they were shipping them to different states and different regions so that they can use these. I'm guessing these are the most accurate ways to test for it and the quickest way. And that's what they will want. They want quick and they want accurate. They want precise results, or that's what they're portraying. And it kind of spooked me a little bit because just how it's presented, how you got to scan people's foreheads, and how depending on where you're going, the test may not be something that you can opt out of. With how widespread this is, with how deadly and fatal it's been showing itself to be, it's not going to be something that you could really opt out of. So you would have to do this, and then yeah, it's just I don't know, like. And me, I'm not the most informed person either. A lot of these details I'm just not reading up on as of late, as of a few days ago, or a few weeks ago, or something like that. I'm not the most informed person either. But I take the information that I do know, and I take the knowledge that I do have, and I try to mix that together and formulate a educated thought process about it. And just wanted to bring somebody else on here to share that and share theirs as well. Yeah, this is it's really odd. It's really odd how they're presenting this and how this whole thing has been going so far. I just don't want to do the whole crazy conspiracy theorist, but you know, no action. Want to be able to see like, hey, what is this? And
Now that you just said that they have this device that was just created to test for this, that makes me wonder, like, what makes this, like, how could you create a device for something that It's just now coming out. Unless coronavirus has been around and this is just the largest outbreak and
Yeah.
we're just not hearing about it. But now you have me curious. Is this something that was created? Because how can you have a device ready for something that's new? That don't sound good.
Mm. Yeah, that is an interesting take on it. Like, there's all of a sudden this device that's ready to be able to test and figure out if this virus is on a person or not. I don't know. It's so many things that we're in the dark about. I think I was talking in the podcast earlier about the entertainment industry. I think we spend so much time in the entertainment industry that we don't really pay attention to what the government has planned for us. We got to realize that the government plan for society isn't all right. They're going to go to work, they're going to come home and watch TV, and we're just going to let them do that, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, no, they have plans for us, you know what I mean? And the plans isn't in our best interest. We got to realize that the government and the people that rule these countries and rule them, that make this world move in the economic, in the economic sense, they don't have our best interests at heart, and they would love to just have everybody doing one thing, and that one thing that they're doing benefits them. You know what I mean? That's my thought process on it. Is just, I think for so long they've wanted us to bury our heads in reality shows, to bury our heads in Netflix and Hulu, and that's why they steady coming out with new streams, new shows, new series and TV series, um, new animes and stuff like that, and sports. I mean, it's such a rich, filthy rich industry, and it's just oozing with money. But they know that if they keep these industries well funded, that they'll keep us distracted. Men especially, like, we love our sports. I love watching me some sports every here and there. But it's just we get we get so embedded in it, we get so carried away that we really don't care about the news that we hear. And sometimes we'll even hear news and just kind of we're so desensitized towards it. We'll just be like, "Oh man, that's crazy," and then we'll move on because in our minds, it doesn't affect us. People heard about the coronavirus and they're just like, "Oh, okay, it's over in China. I'm good." And then now it's here, and all it takes is for the slightest scare. All it takes is for the government to say, you know what, we finna set this into place in every state. You know what I mean? All it takes is for one bad quarantine to happen in a major city. All it takes for one to happen in St. Louis. We're in Illinois, and that will directly affect us as well. All it takes is for something to happen in Delmar or St. Louis somewhere. That's going to directly affect us because a lot of people that are there, we cross paths with. We're family with. A lot of us work there. A lot of them work here. You know what I mean? It's all it takes, and I think a lot of us just kind of got our head in the sand, and I definitely understand why, because the news is super depressing. But like me and you, we've had plenty of conversations. I told you long time ago, I don't watch the news for detail by for play by play for word. I watch it for the general information, just to see what's the general direction that the government has planned for the country to go in as of now. And just seeing what's going on right now, I'm seeing the general direction. I'm seeing generally where they're heading at. I'm seeing as a whole what they're what they're up to. But so far as the details and the play by play and the nitty gritty details, the news will always lie about that. So that stuff I don't pay attention to. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
You are like seriously hitting the nail on the head. We live in a supremely, like severely distracted culture. And it isn't even so much that we want to be distracted. It's just that we're easily distracted. We have so many things stimulating us, so many things vying for our attention. It's like little kids in a candy store at all times. Like yesterday, I just so happened to be off. And sometimes it's good to do nothing, but when I tell you, I don't remember, like I had recently got this phone, so it's like still new to me and I'm still figuring some stuff out and I just enjoy it overall. But like I spent so much time just on my phone, just doing unnecessary scrolling. Like I told you, like I'll delete Facebook. Sometimes I'm tired of other people. Other times that I've kind of thinking about it, like I delete it from myself because I'm just scrolling, and my news feed will repeat itself even though I've refreshed, and you do become desensitized, and it's unhealthy. Like I had a friend, she's in an interracial relationship. Her husband is black, she is white, and this was, let me see, I don't remember who had gotten killed, but this was like post Mike Brown.
Oh, wow.
And she was checking on me, and I was just like, I'm fine. Like, what you checking on me for? Not saying that I didn't care about this individual who had lost their life, but because I had gotten so used to hearing, oh, this young man was killed, this young lady was killed, and they just so happened to be black, and police brutality and black people and all this other stuff. Like, it was happening every day that I just stopped feeling.
Yeah.
And I don't remember exactly what she said, but what I took from it was that we cannot get to that place where we stop feeling. And it's just like, man, how do we turn off the distractions long enough to hear? Sometime last year or 2 years ago, I forgot what major event was happening, but the everything on Facebook was about Lindsay Lohan or about some celebrity. And like when people were finished talking about what was going on with them, or in the midst of all of the posts that was about that celebrity and the situation going on, someone said, meanwhile, this happened. And whatever it was, I hadn't seen or heard anything about it because everybody was talking about celebrity and gossip, and all of that stuff seems interesting because that's the life that we don't have on a regular basis or at all.
Yeah.
And so we want to get wrapped up in the Kardashians and all these other people in Hollywood, and it's stuff going on here. 2 men, I think, in this city were just recently killed. I don't know what about or who they were, but they were just killed. And we're distracted because of everything else going on. And then to go back to what you said about how it just takes one bad quarantine, it takes one bad outbreak. Because I've lived here my entire life and I can see St. Louis, like literally, I can see it. I've always been able to see it. For like the last 10 or so years, I've been able to look at the arch. Metro is down the road. We live so close to an international airport.
Wow.
That is crazy. You got hundreds of thousands of people getting on the train from Shrewsbury to Shiloh Scott, from Lambert International Airport to Shiloh Scott, passing, coming and going, Metro bus going and coming, all of that. We got major hospitals like Barnes Jewish who see any and everybody. That is crazy because I don't think about it as being a major city, but it is.
Yeah.
Man, I think we really gonna just have to be careful because it does, like on the natural side, be careful, strengthen our immune systems the best we can. My sister and I were talking about like vitamins. She works for a company called TLC, and I just ordered some vitamins called NutriBurst. And she was just talking about like, hey, that's good, and you need to give some to mom because my niece, who's 2 years old, she just started daycare sometime last year. Let me see, Shannon graduates in April. I think she started school around August, September, or whatever.
Okay.
And ever since Amelia was in daycare, Amelia just stayed sick. Like from kid to kid, she just kept getting a cold. Week in, week out, Amelia would have like a fever or something was wrong. And Shannon, who has been, strict about her vitamin regimen, has not been sick. And Amelia is all over her. She's been sick. She lives with my grandfather and her daughter, and both of them have been sick. I keep Amelia with my mom a couple times a week. We have both been sick. Like I told you earlier, I'm someone who never gets sick, but there's something going on because people are getting sick and they're staying sick, and it's not to that. It's kind of like, I don't know what experiment it was, but it was in psychology where they basically had 6 or 7 people in a circle playing toss. And your brain naturally goes to the thing that is in motion. And what they were, I think, trying to show us was how deceptive our mind can be. And I'm not sure if I'm getting off topic or not, but basically, there was a man in a gorilla suit who had came and joined the game of toss or something like that. And it just spoke to me about being distracted and how you could have this huge thing in your face going on, but because you're focused on the object that's moving, or the popular trend, or the latest celebrity gossip, you're not paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
And it's time to do something different.
Oh no, no, you're fine. You're fine. Um, you're fine so far as like the topic, and all of it still correlates. All of it wraps around and comes right back. And with this podcast, there'll be topics that I'll touch on, but whatever comes up and put is placed on the table. I'm open. We're always open to discuss and everything. And like you said, sometimes the situation will be like something's right in front of you, distracting you from what's really happening around you. And that's what I used to always tell Gio. I was like, you ain't gotta necessarily key in completely and focus in on what's happening worldwide, but at least have a ear out there, at least. Because a lot of times we feel like, oh, that's not gonna affect me. I'm good. And like you made a good point. Like St. Louis is a major city, and there is a international airport just right down the Metrolink line, and people get on the train, and people get off the train and go into certain cities. They go into grocery stores, they go into hotels, they're riding in Ubers. The Uber drivers live here and live low. It's so much traffic and there's so much interchanging that's happening. Uh, with this thing that's going around, like I said, keep staying healthy, getting a good diet, and staying prayed up. You know what I mean? Make sure we stay prayed up, stay spiritually strengthened, physically strengthened, so that we can combat whatever this is, whether it's intentional or if it's natural. Being able to combat it and just learning the general direction God wants us to go, um, and navigating through whatever is to come. It's just it was just interesting and it caught my attention, and I was getting ready to actually go lay down and get into bed. And I said, you know what, I want to speak on this a little bit and kind of just share my thoughts on it. So I definitely appreciate you coming by. I caught you more so like in the middle or at the latter end of the podcast. Um, so next time I'll probably try to catch you at the beginning and probably hit you up probably a day ahead of time so that I can have some better scheduling and timing for us. But I appreciate you coming by and just sharing your thoughts and sharing your opinions. It's always good speaking with you and talking with you. We will definitely catch up soon. That is it for this podcast, guys. I will catch you guys later. This was episode number 3.
No problem. Thank you so much for including me. I really appreciate it. I look forward to hearing the whole thing. I'll go on when you post it.
And I will catch you guys later. This is podcast number 3. Be looking out for the 4th one, possibly Sunday, possibly. I'm gonna see if I can have my brother Rashad to come by and we get some good conversation going, man. We talk about some things. I will catch you guys later. Like, comment, subscribe to our channel, and I will see you guys soon. Peace.